Have you ever wondered how resilient your nervous system really is? Not just how calm you feel, but how adaptable your body is under pressure. So today I'm talking about a topic I've been really interested in during this past year, that of heart rate variability, or HRV. What it is, why it matters, and most importantly, how you can improve it using scientifically supported psychological tools. So, no supplements, no fitness advice, just evidence-based psychology. So what is heart rate variability? HRV refers to the variation in time between consecutive heartbeats. Now that might sound strange, shouldn't your heart beat like a metronome? Well, actually, no. A healthy heart doesn't tick evenly like a clock. Instead, the time between beats subtly changes from one moment to the next. And that variability reflects how dynamically your nervous system is responding to internal and external demands. So, HRV is largely regulated by the autonomic nervous system, particularly the balance between the sympathetic branch, your fight or flight system, and the parasympathetic branch, your rest and digest system. The parasympathetic system is heavily influenced by the vagus nerve. And so when vagal tone is strong, HRV tends to be higher. And a higher heart rate variability is generally associated with better stress resilience, greater emotional regulation, improved executive functioning, lower risk of cardiovascular disease, and reduced all-cause mortality. And research led by people such as Julian Thayer has consistently linked higher resting HRV with better emotional and cognitive regulation capacity. So, in simple terms, HRV reflects how flexible your nervous system is. And flexibility is a hallmark of psychological health too. So why improve it? I mean, low HRV has been associated with chronic stress, anxiety disorders, depression, burnout, PTSD. And there are meta-analyses, including work by Megan Carnevale, that has shown that reduced HRV is linked to difficulties in emotion regulation and increased psychopathology risk. So, from a psychological perspective, HRV is sometimes described as a biomarker of self-regulation capacity. So that is, how capable you are of self-regulating effectively and recovering. If you can improve HRV, there's a good chance you can enhance emotional control, stress tolerance, cognitive flexibility, social engagement, recovery from adversity. And so today, I wanted to offer up some ways that psychology can do exactly that. So, first of all, probably the most robust psychological method for increasing HRV is slow, controlled breathing. Um, Sometimes referred to as resonance frequency breathing. Specifically breathing at around 5 to 6 breaths per minute, roughly a sort of 4 to 5 second inhale, then a 5 to 6 second exhale. Like I said, it's sometimes called resonance frequency breathing, and there are multiple randomized controlled trials that show and indicate that slow breathing significantly increases HRV and vagal tone. A review in Frontiers in Public Health demonstrated that slow breathing enhances parasympathetic activity and improves emotional regulation outcomes. And why does that work? Breathing is one of the few autonomic processes that we can consciously control. So, by slowing the breath, you directly stimulate vagal pathways and increase heart rhythm coherence. So, a good tool is to, spend 5 minutes, perhaps twice daily, breathing slowly and evenly, slightly longer on the exhale than the inhale. And, no gadgets are required. Something that I do daily as well that Andrew Huberman made me aware of in one of his podcasts on this topic, and backed by recent research, is the physiological sigh, which is sort of two inhales followed by a long hail, sort of two sips in of air, and that rapidly reduces stress, aiming to really empty your lungs at the end. So if you are sort of and really emptying the lungs, it mechanically re-expands, collapsed alveoli and shifts the nervous system toward parasympathetic dominance. And two or three rounds of what I just did can significantly reduce acute tension. There is also HRV biofeedback that trains individuals to increase variability in real time using breathing and attentional control. And clinical trials have shown that HRV biofeedback can reduce anxiety, improve depressive symptoms, enhance performance under stress. And excuse me, researchers such as Paul Lehrer have demonstrated, some sustained improvements in HRV through biofeedback training. And the mechanism is that, it strengthens the feedback loop between the brain and the heart, enhancing your regulatory efficiency. And even without specialized equipment, simply tracking breathing while focusing on smooth rhythm can produce similar effects. And there are several apps that can help you do just that out there. Um, Next up, cognitive reappraisal. Your interpretation of stress affects your physiology, and studies have shown that reframing stress as a challenge rather than a threat reduces sympathetic dominance and improves autonomic balance. So cognitive reappraisal, which is a core technique in cognitive behavioral approaches to therapy, has been linked to healthier HRV patterns. When you reinterpret a stressful situation as manageable, the nervous system responds with greater flexibility. So, next time you feel stressed, you can ask yourself, what else could this mean? Or how might this help me grow? And that shift alone can alter autonomic output. Positive social emotions increase vagal tone. So, compassion and loving kindness practices have been found to increase vagal tone over time. There's some research inspired by Barbara Fredrickson in particular. And, compassion practices enhance social connectedness, reduce threat perception, increase parasympathetic activation. A simple practice to silently repeat to yourself, may I be safe, may I be well, and then extend it to others. 5 minutes daily can really shift your emotional baseline tone. I actually offer a guided free version to download, an audio track to download, a loving kindness hypnosis track and meditation audio on my personal website, www.adam-eason.com. You can go and download it whenever you choose. Um, I mean, of course, with my background, hypnotic relaxation and guided imagery have been shown to increase parasympathetic dominance. Hypnosis and guided imagery are areas that can really help with this. With this type of application, clinical hypnosis studies demonstrate reductions in physiological arousal markers and improvements in autonomic regulation. So, when the mind deeply engages with calming imagery, the body follows. A simple technique is to adopt a receptive hypnotic mindset. Imagine a place where you feel completely safe and at ease. Engage all the sensory details, slow the breath, and allow the body to synchronize with the imagery. Um, wherever you're watching this video, I will include a link to some free self-hypnosis tuition resources, whereby you can learn self-hypnosis effectively and according to some really good evidence-based principles. Um, there is some um, the discussion of emotional suppression versus expression. So chronic emotional suppression is associated with reduced HRV. So in contrast, adaptive emotional expression and acceptance are associated with higher variability. So acceptance-based approaches, such as those we teach on my diploma courses at my college, used in the field of acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, promote autonomic flexibility by reducing the internal struggle. So, paradoxically, resisting stress tightens the nervous system, whereas allowing experiences, loosens it. So, as counterintuitive as it feels, accepting and allowing feelings and thoughts to be there and not trying to fight them off necessarily does really help. So, if we were to put together some of these things, if you want a simple sort of psychological protocol to improve HRV on a daily basis, I would engage in, a few minutes of slow breathing, a few minutes of compassion or imagery practice, but in particular self-hypnosis. On a weekly basis, engage in some deliberate cognitive reappraisal of some of your stressors, and then with an ongoing basis, reduce emotional suppression, increase emotional awareness. And these interventions, they're all supported by psychophysiological research and can measurably influence vagal tone and HRV. And heart rate variability isn't just a fitness metric. It's a window into your nervous system's flexibility. And flexibility is resilience. And the encouraging news is that, you don't need medication. You don't need extreme lifestyle changes. You can begin improving HRV using psychological skills this very day. Hopefully you found this useful. Do subscribe, share, look out for the guided HRV enhancing hypnosis and breathing session that I'm going to be sharing online soon too. Until next time, take care of your nervous system and it'll take care of you. Okay, best wishes. Bye for now.